final score was Chelsea 6, Western Sydney Wanderers 4 in our first official pre-season friendly, being played over in Australia. We've got some games out there, that's where the pre-season's taking place this year largely. So Western Sydney Wanderers are a fairly new club, only formed in 2012 actually. This wasn't played at their stadium. This stadium we played at was massive. It was about 85,000, really nice stadium in Sydney. And they're over there currently 9 hours ahead of the UK, so it's a bit strange morning kick-off time for Chelsea, 10:45 in our time in the morning. And well, 6-4 win. I think the main takeaway from the game is very good in attack, a lot of promise going forward, but very, very sloppy defensively. Now, I don't want to read too much into this, it is only a friendly, and it's also worth noting that is not the back line that's going to start the season. We've got Lacroix to still be officially confirmed. Carl Wills obviously only brought on in the second half, is carrying that. Obviously he's had that long-term injury, not rushing him back. More players could well come into the mix. You know, the main wing backs aren't there. You know, there's a lot of players that weren't there, and I think so. It's definitely not. You know, it's definitely nothing to panic about at all. Because I still think there's a lot to do in this transfer window, and a lot of the players that will be starting the season wasn't there. But again, same old story on that front though. Yeah, I certainly would have hoped for a bit of a tidier performance at the back. But is what it is. We get the win in our first friendly. Well, in the next friendly we've got our against European clubs. Obviously, we've got Spurs coming up soon in this next friendly over there, which will be really interesting to see how much of a friendly that actually is, how much both sets of players go for it, because there's not really such thing as a friendly between Chelsea and Spurs. I imagine there'll still be some form of competitiveness in that game, but obviously Amenga still with that hamstring injury, so Viquendra. So neither of them in the squad. Jorgensen also has apparently flown back to England. Apparently, moves looking like it's going to go through for him. So the lineup we started with today, we put in the 4-2-3-1 formation. Bear in mind, Reece James not there if he does eventually want to move to playing a back three, Alonso. But the lineup we started with today, Sherman Lowe starts in goal. Sabulai then plays. Then you've got Akbong, Tosin captains us, Malalo on the other side. Then you've got the two in the field today, Roger Reggie Raston and Sugo. Then you've got the three behind the strikers. You've got Stapayev, then you've got Reggie Walsh, Kyle McQueen and Delap up front. And very early on, Stapayev puts us one up, but then of course they end up getting one goal, get themselves back into it. Then the second goal, you know, I think the Chakabong should be doing a bit better there really. Don't want to criticise him at all really, he's not played enough football at all, getting up to speed. But yeah, then we do get the equaliser of course before half time. Sugo gets us the equaliser. Going into the second half, I mean, we end up going behind again, but then we bring all the superstars on, all the main men come on. You know, João Pedro comes on, Kyle Palmer comes on. I don't know what was going on with Kellyman, why he only managed 15 minutes, and then when he comes on, but Estevao comes on for him. You know, all the main players come on. Gittins comes on as well. But everyone, Gittins has scored he scored in the two behind closed doors friendlies. He scores again today, so it's on a real run. Let's just hope when the real season starts he can keep this up and running. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we play Spurs and Juventus. See if he can keep this form up going into those games. Of course, it'll be very interesting to see. But then, of course, we do end up going behind again. One of the goals, see, Strela comes off the bench for his debut. He does make that error for the goal, of course. I see the back line. All players change as challenges come on in goal. We see because it's friendly, they pretty much change all positions at some point. We see Cole will come on in defence, Afana come on in defence. The whole thing changed around. But what was key is João Pedro was then who got us back into the game, and he sets up the goal. Not only sets up the goal for Gittins that equalised for 3-3. João Pedro got one of the equalisers. We got hat-trick within 9 minutes. Palmer, a brilliant assist for the second goal, and then João Pedro again gets us, makes it 6-4. So, you know, Biggs continuing that excellent goal scoring form. I have no doubt that as the games get more serious and as the real ones come along, I have no doubt he'll be able to continue this. So that was the game today. Very good to start with a win defensively. Bit of a crazy friendly, really, very chaotic. You know, it's very, you know, can't read too much into these type of results, but certainly a lot of promise in front of goal. But you know, certainly where the real issues are defensively, you can see that why you know, the transfer window is still a lot to do for us. But of course, that won't be, regardless of anything, that one back four won't be the four that starts the season. It's obviously worth noting. Of course, shame about John Stones, 2 years contract he signed at Inter Milan. A shame he missed out there. You know, there's obviously a lot of links between us and Pistone a little while ago, but unfortunately I think that's gone away now. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Now Danny Welbeck to Chelsea come about yesterday. This is something I really hope we can do. I think this would be fantastic. I think, you know, it was not only would it stop him scoring against us, he always seems to score against us, but he's a fantastic player. I think he's a player with so much experience. I think he'd be a great player to bring into this squad. Actually, I know what people are saying. He's 35, you know, but he's still doing it in the Premier League. He's got so much Premier League experience. I've always really liked him. I've always really rated him as a Premier League player, and I think you know, give him, say, an 18-month contract. I think that would be a really good bit of business from us again. What a player to come off of the bench. You know, we can make that sub, what a backup to João Pedro to have. You know, say João Pedro's not having his best games, then we've got Danny Welbeck to come off the bench. He's such a great, you know, asset to have off the bench. I think this would actually be a really good move from Chelsea, and one that could actually pay off. So I'm hoping we can get that one over the line. But as for the friendlies today, we got the win there, so certainly all certainly looking good, especially if we can get this signing over the line over the next coming days.